next episode of Talk to Me About, the podcast where we talk about your faves and why you love them from the Guilty Gear franchise. I'm your host, Dee. Hello. I'm here with my co-host again, Jay. Hi, Jay.
Hello.
And today we're talking about the one, the only, the number one best third king of Illyria, Daryl. Daryl. I hear some of you asking, who is that? Well, he's just the most important king of Illyria. I mean, who cares about Kiske, Leo Whitefang?
Kai Kiske.
This is
He's
where it's
been in the
at.
franchise for too long.
And we have some wonderful guests here today who also care about him. So let me introduce them. First up, Durian. Hi, Durian.
Hi there, my name's Darian, and I like Daryl, and that's a big surprise.
True.
How can you not, though? He's a wonderful little shithead. Next up, we have Space. Hi, Space.
Hi, I'm Space. I'm probably best known for petitioning to get Daryl to be a user flare on the Guilty Gear subreddit. I have not succeeded.
Aw,
Come
damn.
on! I've seen them get,
We'll
like,
fix that. We will fix
Robo-ABBA and
that.
all these Robo different
they have,
things,
like
and the
Robo
bears.
ABBA and like all of the jellyfish pirates, but not Daryl, who's like a plot relevant character.
All of the jellyfish pirates before Daryl?
I don't
See,
understand.
Wow.
I would say the Sharon tag is useless, but I know for a fact there are like 4 people on the GG Reddit that are obsessed with Sharon, so...
Yeah, be careful when you go saying that for the Sharon episode.
I'm not doing a Sharon
I know.
episode!
Yeah.
And last but not least, we have Half Duckman, or Duck. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am also doing well. I haven't done this in about 2 weeks, so my voice is a little weird, but I'm hoping to do this well.
No.
I haven't done this ever, so you gotta start on me.
You're a natural.
Yeah.
Alright, the big question. Out of all the kings of Illyria, why this guy?
I really like purple.
Honestly,
Purple is a good color.
good reason.
Purple and yellow is a good combination, too.
It is true, yeah.
Everyone,
Invoking royalty.
everyone makes all of those like, oh, Gabriel Waluigi jokes, but like, Daryl's in Waluigi colors.
It is true.
Yeah.
And he's got more of the personality.
Yeah.
True?
Gabriel's too honest.
See, I would love to have Daryl on my tennis team in Super Mario Tennis 3. I would love that.
What, would he be like super good? Like,
Well, he's average.
I just feel like he'll be a rule stitch, you know, like,
Yeah.
violation.
I was gonna say, my concern is that he would just be leagues better than me, and he would just constantly be cursing me out whenever I fuck up tennis.
Most likely he went to an Ivy League school or something along
Yeah.
those lines. Yeah.
Whatever the equivalent is in Illyria, they got, like, Gear Ivy.
He'd probably play tennis in his king costume.
Yeah, I don't see why he would ever take that off.
you know, the world of Guilty Gear is in a state of recovery, and yet I know for a fact he'd be the first one to put back rich boy schools back in.
He's like the first institution
Yeah.
we need to reestablish is golf courses. It cannot be understated. But then there'd be like a really pragmatic reason for it, and Kind Leo would just be like, well, he has a bigger brain than we do, so I guess that's okay. He'd be like, oh, well, if we want the support of rich constituents, we're going to have to give them some entertainment. And they're like, oh, okay. And then he just uses it to fuck off.
So, not to,
So,
oh, sorry.
no, it's fine. So for the people that are listening to the podcast right now, maybe are not familiar with the story. Daryl is the third king of Illyria, which is the country that Kai and Leo have helped create, which is just kind of like a large amalgamation of Europe. And Kai is the face of everything. He's like the Mr. President. Everyone elected him. They like him. He's, they're the war hero. Very good stuff. Leo is also a war hero. He was more of the practical, militaristic sense. He owns a lot of the military and does those decisions. And then Daryl is more of the politician angle of things, where he's the talker. I've recently, there was the Guilty Gear poll that came out, and he was like one of the most hated characters on there, which I think is a little crazy. And I guarantee it's almost certainly because his name is Daryl and his hair looks like this.
Aw, those are the best parts.
Hair.
Yeah.
So I guess the question is, how is it that, what do you think are the appeals for him from someone that maybe is either like a basic level 1 getting into Guilty Gear lore, or someone that's not into him at all, like the lore at all?
He's just an asshole. Like he's just an ass.
True.
He is just an asshole.
But he's an asshole for reasons.
Yes.
Yeah. As you put it perfectly. He is the actual politician of the kings. You know, he's the one who has got to talk to food resources, accounting, management. He's the one who's doing a lot of the groundwork. Where like Leon kind of like, yeah, do that. We trust you.
Also, the only one who knows how to dress.
It's true.
Yeah.
Something I noticed is that I think in Strive, like, I don't think it's the exact same coat, but he has a very similar coat to Leo.
Very, yeah.
And
Yeah,
honestly,
exactly.
I think he works it a little better than Leo. Leo's got like the pompous like fluff going on at the top, because he's like got the everything unbelted. Like he's like, look at me, I'm huge and I'm awesome. Daryl has more of the like, I'm cool, I'm compact. I've got everything close to my body. He's surprisingly burly when I think about it. Like he's got muscle on him, which is a little weird, but.
Yeah,
It's all that
'cause
golf.
Looking at After Story C and then his Stripe design, it looked like he bulked up for sure, absolutely.
Okay,
Mainly in the
Most
armor
of his
department.
characters seem to bulk up and strive.
Yeah, true.
that makes me
It's something in
wonder
the
something
ethereal
about Daryl.
water.
So
What if.
everyone was like freaking out when Testament was like in the credits of Strive's story and had a different design. Daryl has this drastic redesign in between Exert and Strive. He gets bulkier, he gets a new outfit. No one says anything. Why does no one love him?
Why are you letting him eat sand? I don't like him.
I don't like him.
I
He's not
think
eating sand, though, he's eating pudding!
Yeah, for the vast majority of Guilty Gear fans, unlike Testament, he just doesn't really occupy like a big portion of the fan base's brain space. Because, you know, for one, he's not as old, I guess, and for two, as according to that poll, he's widely disliked, which
He's
is like
also
still so
not
crazy to me.
playable.
That is
Yeah, I
also
think
true.
That's, yeah.
Why?
The fact that he hasn't been in a game playable-wise. Like I feel like if they made a little cooking minigame starring Daryl, his popularity would shot up, but unfortunately, no, we live in the bad timeline.
That is money on the
You know
table,
what's crazy too? Daryl has more screen time, more lore, and more voice lines than almost half the cast members.
Yep.
Yeah?
That's hilarious.
He's got 40 minutes of story with the, After Story C with Zappa. I know it's mostly focused on Zappa, but Daryl's the dramatic little pretty boy in the side being like, why? Why did this have to be the case? Her dreams.
Can I say something that might be a little bit controversial?
Absolutely.
Go right ahead.
He has more screen time in Strive than Bridget does.
Oh my, well, you
yeah.
know.
This is so
you ain't
crazy to
wrong.
say after the Bridget episode, but I can't deny it, and honestly, I do agree, but the problem is my Bridget fans already want to explode me for saying that I really like Daryl.
Like they're diametrically opposed.
Bridget and Daryl beef?
Yeah, I was gonna say the two greatest enemies in Guilty Gear.
Maybe they should eat some of the special pudding.
Yeah. Just have the
You make
pudding
it sound like a
calm
drug,
down.
like, oh, get a little lost in that special
Yeah.
pudding.
I mean,
Special pudding.
They'll go flying.
Yeah.
My
But,
one friend Viv, who was on the Bridget episode, she DM'd me today and she's like, I know what you've done. How dare you say that you like Daryl?
You turned your back on us.
And the only way I'm going to allow you to make the Daryl episode is if you upload that one picture of him with the word loser on his forehead.
Whoa! Getting extorted here.
So I'm actually held up by guns right now. This is
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
horrible.
Oh, wow.
You're experiencing what HC did when he was talking to Daryl, but no, I was gonna say Daryl I think is pretty cool. Just to like loop back a little bit to what makes him stand out against the other three kings is because I feel like just in Guilty Gear in general, and this is kind of getting into more stuff we could probably talk about later too. He serves a really unique function as a character because Guilty Gear is definitely a very gritty setting, right? There's like some cool, nasty, crazy shit that happens, but I think Daryl's the only character that really affords it a level of tangibility, right? You know, he's, like you mentioned, the king of groundwork, so he provides footing for the setting where it's like, oh, these are things happening in a real living world. Like, there's paperwork and consequences for the things that these, like, larger-than-life, really exaggerated characters are doing. It's not just, like, happening in fucking DC Metropolis. It's like, there are people with lives and jobs. Like, I think a really good example of this, and I imagine it's something we'll touch on a lot throughout this episode, is Daryl's conversation with Kai, obviously, where he's talking about, like, you know, your sense of justice is probably well aligned, but the method you're choosing for it is just so horribly misguided because there's, like, due process in the world. We have to take people to trial, and then that's, like, taxpayer dollars. And that's not something I ever anticipated to, like, really think about or even deeply consider in Guilty Gear before. But it's really cool that Daisuke has this character to force you to confront that. It's like, these are people in a world. Like, there's dimension to this. It's not as simple as, like, okay, we go beat the bad guy. It's like, we have to take him to court. It's like, oh, okay.
I have to pay my taxes.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I thought we were just going to use the real world stuff to, like, you know, kind of build up that connection and be like, oh, haha, like, some of these characters are in-laws. Isn't that kind of cute? It's like, no, dude.
I think the concept of Guilty Gear Court is really special when you consider that, like, the first 2.5 games end with, we sealed justice in an interdimensional prison and then broke her out and then put her back into interdimensional prison.
Yeah, that's called jail.
Yeah, and Daryl's just like, we're sending these fuckers to Rikers, man.
You just got magic tax forms.
Do you think they would have put justice on trial? Like, how do you think that would have worked? Hypothetically.
Did you hypothetically kill 6 billion people? You know, I just
who are they getting to represent her?
They're gonna need a big courtroom.
Testament, they gotta get Testament up there.
Yeah.
My client.
You do it, I guess.
Oh no, I didn't have a joke prepared. I just wanted to
another-
have Testament say my client.
My client. I think another big appeal about Daryl, especially to me, is that, like, all of the scenarios that he ends up being in, it's not like, he always finds himself in, like, these deep little, like, plot corners where he's not necessarily essential to be there, but him being there kind of, like, I don't know, he kind of represents, like, the world of Illyria to me.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I think it
Him
gets
saving
so...
everyone in the summit meeting, you know, that was a big
And
thing
there's
because,
also, like, in the main story, he's like that, but there's also, like, this little tiny bit of comedy in there that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
Where he's just so serious, but you put him in an unserious position, and everything gets funnier.
Yeah. Like, I think it says so much that, like, after Story C happens and we get this, you know, a little bit of a monologue of this petitionary and her dreams and how she feels like she's doomed everyone and her grandmother's wishes, and it's like, okay, this was honestly a little forgettable, but it's a little over the top, sure. And then we get to Zappa and, oh, they're all congratulating each other, we got justice, we got aerials, we did everything, woo! And then they're like, okay, well, let's go celebrate Daryl, who helped us, was the one responsible for helping everyone. And then he just comes in, doors open, he's like looking at them all like, and there's just a sense of seriousness and shock, and it's like, okay, well, why? I think the fact he is so different from every other character is just such a big appeal for him. Like, the fact he walks in, and, like, his entire character design is littered with, like, points and sharp edges, and he's got a glare constantly, but he also has a softness where it's like, oh no, he really gives a shit about the little details in life. It's just... He's a sharp edge on a knife. I really like that.
Another thing is just
He's like...
the fact that he's never really done any fighting that we know of, but he walks into a room and everyone is terrified. I love that.
God, that's some fucking anime-ass, like, importance there.
Guilty Gear is a world where the most insane shit can happen and humanity will just walk it off, and Daryl just feels like one of our universe's office workers that got unfortunately trapped within that world. It's great.
No, exactly. Like, I feel like he gives it so much depth in that regard, and like I was mentioning before, just it feels so much more realistic now that we have someone who's reacting in a way you might expect from, like, not necessarily like an American politician, but, like, you know, just a human being to be like, holy shit, what are you people doing? You know, like, it becomes a lot easier to conceive of Daryl's decision to just, like, blanket nuke everything that was going on in Exerd when you think, like, what if you just woke up and saw that? Like, your job is to do paperwork, and this man with, like, an insane dragon transformation and a gun for an arm is fighting, like, a giant dragon woman.
You find out that the other king is, like, putting the whole universe at stake.
Yeah.
And out fighting some white woman.
Like, not only that, you learn that the universe can be at stake for this. Like, obviously magic exists in the world of Guilty Gear, but then it's suddenly just dumped on you like, oh yeah, you know, there's like this alternate dimension that's like made of computers that can just like fuck up reality. It's like, what the fuck?
The funniest part is that in Strive 2, he knows magic. He's proficient with magic.
Yeah.
He does one thing of magic, and he puts a communicator on, and that's like the only time we've ever. Oh, and I guess the ass rocket, but I don't know if
That was
He did
planned.
that to himself.
Yeah.
But everyone in that room, when they were like leaving the White House, was like, "Oh my God, Daryl! Wow, he's so calculated."
Thank you so much.
The one time in the story where people actually appreciate and like having Daryl around, and then he's immediately like, don't thank me at all, I would have sacrificed your lives. Look, it's just Chaos didn't need us, that was it. Don't look at me, don't touch me, I don't like you. But you're welcome.
I don't like you.
I just really, really like asshole characters, and I think the fact that he does have like a heart, like not of gold, but the fact that he does do everything out of care for people makes a really nice dimensionality to his character.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe a heart of bronze.
Yeah,
He's almost there. It's like an alloy.
Probably why he's the third king.
Yeah. But, no, yeah, I think when you look at a lot of Guilty Gear characters, it becomes very easy to superficially kind of just, like, make a generalization and write them off, maybe just on how they appear. And I feel like that's part of, like, what Daisuke's intending, right? He wants you to get a certain impression, or from, like, you know, a few of their interactions, just be like, okay, that's kind of all they are. But, you know, we've seen time and time again, especially, you know, through all these episodes, that I feel like even for a more minor character like Daryl, although he's not minor in our hearts, there's still so much depth to really find if you go looking for it. And I think that that's wonderful, because just like you say, you know, like on the surface, if you're just like looking at the on the book details of what the story is for Exerd and Strive, it's easy to be like, oh, okay, Daryl is this like cunning kind of asshole-ish politician, and that's really all there is to him. But if you pay attention to the things that he's saying, like you're saying, like there is a lot of heart. There's true benign motivation behind all the things that he's saying, and I feel like his perspective, if you give like it the chance to kind of dwell in your mind a little bit, is not only a really understandable one, it's kind of a relatively noble one, especially if you try to apply like, you know, which is it's a farcical idea to begin with, but like real world logic to it, and consider like, okay, you know, to him, he has these two people who are also like the more important politicians in like the larger world as we know it, and he knows that they're deeply pious, and like sort of in the pocket of the church, right? Not that they're being manipulated at all, but, you know, kind
Something
of a little
I really
bit.
want to bring up super quick is that, you know, they're all religious leaders in the sense that they're all under the Pope.
Yeah.
And then by Strive, they denounce the Pope, and they are no longer under the Pope at all, and they are a democratic nation, supposedly, because I think Kai was democratically elected, which is weird to think that like, Daryl was democratically elected. Like, how did they even know him?
Because he was the one doing the groundwork.
But the
It's
thing
like, that's the guy that gets stuff done.
I think the biggest Daisukeism that I see with Daryl, and that I think is the coolest part of his character, is the fact that he's like, I do not believe in God. And he is saying that while he was a religious leader, and he is saying that explicitly to Soul. And then as soon as Soul does his thing in Exerd, he's immediately after like, well, shit, I guess he's a god of war. Okay, we're gonna use him for everything. He's gonna do our dirty work. He's gonna wash my dishes. He's gonna fight my wars. This is awesome.
Yeah, no, but I think there's a lot of dimension in that, right? Because it's like him saying, like, hey, I know that for a lot of you, like, these are noble motivations, what you're trying to do is a good thing, and it's very easy to read that as like, oh, you know, there's this red tape guy who's trying to make things complicated for our more important main characters. But it's like, no, this is a very reasonable concern to have. If like, not only if the Pope's evil, but if the Pope just like has interests that don't align with the regular people of a state, it's important to have someone to just be like, it's, you guys should think. You know? I don't know if that just came out completely inarticulate, but, like, I feel like for a lot of characters, right, Daisuke really stresses that notion of kind of benevolent selfishness, of, like, having your own sense of justice and really believing in that and being the person that you want to be. And on the surface, it can look like Daryl is stopping other people from doing that, but I feel like what he's really doing is tempering what it is that they believe to, like, ensure they're actually being good people, because it's very easy to tell yourself, like, oh, I'll just do whatever my religion tells me to, and that'll be, like, a good thing. But, like, obviously that's, like, kind of inherently fucked. It should be because it's already aligning with whatever moral sense you have as an individual that you decide to abide by this religion, that it gives you some sort of structure, which I think, you know, like, Daisuke is trying to say through the confrontation with Ariel's too. But yeah, that was a bunch of nonsense from me. Sorry.
I didn't know you liked Daryl that much.
I don't know, he's just cool.
That's real. I wasn't expecting this episode to go that deep. I appreciate that.
Do you guys have anything that you guys want to talk about for a bit, or
Well,
or anything to build off of him? or anything?
I would like to ask a question. If Daryl were to become playable in a DLC or a future game, what do you think his, like, fighting style would be? Because we've never seen him throw hands.
Ooh, I have thoughts about this.
Yes, I talk about this on stream multiple times, in fact. So, are any of you familiar with the manga or anime Black Clover?
Vaguely familiar with it. I have seen the cover and seen some scenes from it, I think, but...
Yeah. Well, essentially,
I've
there's
watched a couple of the openings because they slap.
They do, they honestly do. Side, Black Clover should be everything I hate about modern day shonen, but somehow I just don't. It boggles my mind. But yeah, there is a character whose whole thing is the concept of sweets and food and using it as attack magic.
Oh.
And so it's able to, she's able to transmutate magic such as wind, concepts of art, time in a weird way, into food that she uses to restore her own magic. So my line is that I was thinking of it, you know, he, you know, asking his coworkers about, you know, the whole demon book and making short pacts. Like every match he makes a pact for a certain set amount of time. But then there's a whole nother side where I just think he just is a call assist character and he's just calling in Zappa to throw him. I don't know.
Yeah,
tossing around Zappa.
Or Zappa comes back, and he's no longer a puppet character, he is the puppet.
He is the puppet.
I'd feel so bad for the one Korean person that's really obsessed with sexualizing Zappa all the time if they got their character back and he's just a part of someone else's kid.
But what if that's
just Daryl?
Listen, it's gonna happen with Zappa, it's gonna happen with Robokai. We have to be ready to accept it.
True, his head's just gonna be like a throwable that Venom has.
I can't tell if I really want that or if I want Robokai as his own character, because I feel like Robokai as his own guy would slap, but also he doesn't have a body, but also... Okay, I'm getting off topic.
They can get one. But no, I actually had a relatively similar idea to the second one that you were talking about, Darian, for Daryl. I just really envision him as basically being Parasol from Skullgirls, where, like, instead of the black egrets, you just have a bunch of, like, Illyrian goons that he's summoning all the time, because, he doesn't strike me as, like, a boots-on-the-ground direct fighter, unless he absolutely has to be. But I think a puppet character type situation, or just like a summons guy thing, would be totally perfect for him. Like, not getting his hands dirty, not in his way, but he will absolutely get other people to do that.
Yeah.
See, what I was envisioning is, like, I guess something similar, but I was thinking more on, like, I guess the Black Dahlia kind of thing, where it's like, oh, Daryl as the character will sit on the left, kind of like Delilah, on a throne, and will point his finger, and it's his, like, 3 Illyrian guards that are doing all the fighting and stuff, and you can control them on different parts of the screen, and he will just keep swiping his hand. But also, I would really like it if Daryl played really dirty and sneakily, like he's got teleports and stuff, and like, random sweeps that look like overheads. I want him to be a very dirty fighter.
I wouldn't mind, like, a set play
kind
of situation.
I think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but ever since I saw him, I always envisioned him, like, using a spear.
I think that'd be fun.
Like, I don't know if that would be his main thing, but I feel like just for some of his attacks, he should just use a spear.
Yeah.
I think, like, in Guilty Gear, as far as a spear character, there really isn't anyone except maybe for Sin's flagpole, which has then since recently got turned into a full flag. So I think, I guess there is a spear character that we could have in here. Like, I'm trying to think, is there a BlazBlue spear character that you could pull from? Like,
that one, the red pole girl? I don't remember
the
her
Chinese
name.
lady.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what her name is. I know Lord Knight plays her. Either way, I guess you...
Mai Natsume.
No, that's the trans lady.
Oh, but I thought she had a spear.
She does also have a spear.
Yeah, she has a
Yeah,
spear.
isn't that also a spear?
Yeah.
Or is that lance?
Oh,
Fair.
it's a poker. It's a poking
It's
weapon.
it's a stick that she hits people with. They're the same thing.
But yeah,
I think there's more than one spear character in Grand Blue.
True.
I just realized
There's
I
precedent.
think Daryl would be a really, really perfect and analogous to what Ken was in Persona 4 Arena, where it's okay, you got your spear character and you also have the puppet. And I don't know, I guess the puppet would all be like an Illyrian guard or maybe just something. Maybe Daryl
It's the
has some kind of
Felix
cool
from
magic.
Side Story 2. it's the guard!
We finally get him back! Let's go, Guard 2!
Yeah, let's go guard 2!
Dude, I still see people being like, oh, Illyrian guard's coming in. Oh, why did we get Sin? I wanted Illyrian guard.
But yeah, from
Insane, by the way.
From a character perspective, I honestly really like the idea of a spear for him because it's just a practical weapon with historical foundation. It's something that lets you keep your distance, and it's just good in a phalanx. I think that's a really cool thing that you hit on there. That feels very appropriate.
Is Daryl someone that respects history, or is he entirely hey, let's do the future? I want new tech. I want this and that. I'm trying to pull how I think he'd feel about this, and I can't tell.
I feel like
he wants to learn from history.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Don't
He's
make the
afraid
same
of
mistakes
mistakes
twice,
and
or
repeats.
history's doomed to repeat itself.
Yeah.
Oh man, what was my point gonna be? I forgot, Jay. Follow up me.
True. No, I was going to say, I also, kind of expanding off of that idea, I like Daryl as a character with his notion of objectivity. Because, a lot of Guilty Gear kind of attacks the notion that there can be, and this is getting a little existential again, but that there can be, a singular, consistent truth in the world, right? So it's cool to see a character who has a perspective kind of adjacent to that, but to have it be validated, not so insofar as, I know the single one thing that is right, but, I value information that tries to be as unbiased as possible, and I feel like there's a purpose for that in the world, because that's something we see reflected later on with people's arcs like Asuka, where that's the whole thing he winds up dedicating his life to. So I feel like there is a place in the world for believing in hey, things are true, and I think that's why he might be somebody who gives a hoot about history, unlike, some other people in Guilty Gear who maybe don't give as much a hoot about it because they just kind of fucking lived through it and, did some crazy shit during the Crusades, but, there's something to be said to be hey, let's, try to pay attention and really, think about things rather than just, doing cool, crazy shit all the time, because that's just what life is about. Not everything's always going to be a crazy, insane adventure. Sometimes it's good to be pragmatic and think and consider things, and I appreciate that Daisuke's yeah, do that.
For fuck's sake, the Guilty Gear world needs a goddamn break. There's a world-ending event happening every other month.
Yeah.
We just got done with our 6th world-ending event. Even Daryl starts off the story by saying dude, we just had 6 world-ending events, and we're 3 weeks after it, and we're getting another one. Come on. And the fact that it ends with Happy Chaos popping in and be hey, would you like number 7?
So you brought up Asuka, and I don't know. I wish that Asuka and Daryl could interact. I feel like they would have a very interesting conversation.
Yeah, right? I feel like there's a lot to that.
Honestly, just make the next story, just make it a series of characters going on to Asuka's radio show and just talking about philosophy.
Oh, so true.
I would be so down for that. You have no idea.
In-universe
Can
Guilty
we
Gear
get a
podcast.
spin-off where it's just a Guilty Gear podcast, but it's Asuka's voice actor interviewing the other voice actors who are in character?
I would love that so much, genuinely. I feel like a lot of people would get a huge kick out of that, and I feel like that would be a really good on-ramp. This is just talking from a meta perspective, just to get people more interested in the lore, because it's yo, if you want to know more about Potemkin, listen to the interview he did in universe with Asuka.
I don't think think Potemkin's voice actor cares about Potemkin, but you know who does? Like, Octopimp really likes Potemkin.
Yeah, get Axel on to talk about Potemkin.
Yeah.
Oh, this Potemkin guy, he's the best.
He's a right honest bloke.
He's a bee's knees.
Get fucking Alex Lee back on and he'll be like, what's up, it's me, K-Min, and I'm talking about my favorite man, Anji Mito, and I'm here to say, boom, divorced, Viking!
Oh
You know what?
God, I love Alex Lee.
no.
I
No, what a
love him.
guy.
I think he's one of my favorite voice actors of all time. But between him and Amber Lee Connors, who's the voice actress for Eno, I really love her.
Oh,
And also
yeah.
Mito and Uneco Gold.
Which is never coming out. So
Which
don't
is
get my
totally
hopes
coming
up.
out. Which is totally coming out.
Speaking of which, Daryl shares his voice actor with Faust, and I couldn't hear it at first, but then as soon as I really listened to Faust, because he doesn't really talk a lot in Strive, I was like, oh shit, wait, it is the same guy! I think I like
In
him more
English?
as Daryl than I like him as Faust, which is weird, but I think he kills it as Daryl in Strive Story. Like,
Kaiju Tang voices Daryl.
Yes.
yes, he does.
Nice.
Yeah, no, he's so great. I honestly love Kaiji Tang and everything that he's done.
What a range.
It's crazy, genuinely.
I don't think he's like probably the most standout performance in Strive, but I think he sells like a cool collected voice really, really well.
Which I think is perfect for Daryl, right? He's not trying to be like an incredible standout person. He's just trying to be like a cool, regular dude, and I think that that's like excellent casting in that part.
Yep. I mean, compared to Faust, who is the opposite of a regular dude.
He's just a little guy.
I wonder if that's why they dual casted him, just to show his range.
Yeah. Just so he could
Do you
style
think-
on everybody.
So you know how when Kai I was about to say when Kai gave birth to Sin.
Yeah, when Kai's eye fell out.
Yeah.
When,
Alright, new canon lore. Alright.
when Dizzy gave birth to Sin and Kai was looking for a doctor and had Faust in there, do you think that Daryl was in there like, what the fuck? We keep this thing around? What is this guy?
What is
That's
this?
another character interaction I want to see.
It's true. All of this can be possible if you vote for Daryl in the next
Exactly.
Fighter Poll, everybody.
I just want to say
Yeah.
I voted for Daryl every single time.
I
respect
voted
that.
for
I
Daryl
also
as well.
vote for Daryl.
Good vision. Good vision.
If I see guest character over Daryl one more time, I'm gonna throw it.
Oh my
You're so real.
God,
You're so
if there's
real.
a
The
guest
guest
character,
character.
I'm losing my shit, and not in a good way.
The-
Guilty Gear has too many good characters for us to get like Ryu again.
Man,
Yeah.
there's literally only one guest character I would even.
I don't want Ragnar. I don't
Do
want.
Oh.
we need to bring the multiverse into Guilty Gear? I don't think so.
I think the problem is too when they say guest character, they just mean Ragnar the
Yeah.
Judge. It would just be Ragnar.
Yeah.
And what? Not Junpei from Persona 4 Golden Arena?
True.
I fucking love Junpei. I can't wait for Reload to come out.
It's just Kazuya. Everyone thinks it's gonna be Ragna, and then it's like one of the Mishimas. No one expects why.
Well, Harada is on record, quoted. I think last year he said, "I will never put Soul Bad Guy in my games." But maybe this was misleading because he's saying, "Oh, I would put Kazuya in your games."
No, don't put Soul Bad
Imagine
Guy
having
in
to
Tekken.
make this statement.
Don't put
That
Soul
you
Bad
will
Guy
never
in
put
Tekken.
Soul Bad Guy.
Sorry to get
Yeah,
off
wouldn't carry
topic,
you.
but put
Yeah,
Giovanna in Tekken.
True, actually.
Giovanna would work pretty well
Yeah.
in Tekken.
Yeah.
Would never happen, but I think it would be really cool.
I agree. I think they should put Chimaki in as the guest character, guys.
What if we say, what
I'm gonna explode you.
people aren't gonna know? People don't know Daryl. What if we just say he's the guest character?
just name a separate fighting game as the one he's from.
Yeah,
No, dude, ready? Guest character with Ace Attorney. It's Daryl, the third king of Illyria.
I guess a character from Street Fighter, it's Ed.
He destroys you with facts and logic.
he absolutely is that Miles Edgeworth type. He's playing chess in his mind whenever he's having a conversation with someone.
you know what?
It's like, oh my god.
Just have it be Daryl doing a Miles Edgeworth cosplay. No one
Oh,
would be able
please.
to tell.
Blonde Miles Edgeworth.
Yeah.
So, two things I gotta say. First off, you are so fucking good at drawing. I really love how much you're varying your line weights, and I really love how you just drew Daryl's hair easily on the first try.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy. I wanted to say that
I
too.
was the whole time with like my mouth agape. I was like, holy shit, you're just doing this?
Yeah, I struggled with this one eye for like 30 minutes and then the hair just done.
The power of love.
I don't know.
And then second of all, I forgot what my second point was going to be. So
That's a good
let's
point.
move on to something else.
That's a good point, and I agree.
Thank you. Yeah, if Daryl was in, Strive, what kind of music genre would he be? Obviously, he's
Ooh.
based off of, like, Flock of Seagulls. He's got that fucking Mike hair. But I don't know if I want him to have a Flock of Seagulls soundtrack.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear, like, and I ran.
Funny if he was the only one without a vocal theme and it was just like classical music, like just something really elegant.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I think that'd be perfect, like some strings.
I don't really see him as like a harpsichord kind of classic, but I could see him like something smooth, something classy, something you'd hear going into a bougie cafe.
Yeah.
Maybe some organ.
Ooh, I kind of like
yeah.
Yeah, because kind of imposing too. It's like, ooh, what's this guy's deal?
Last year when I went traveling for work for the first time, this is completely irrelevant, I just wanted to bring it up. I was in like Ohio and we went to some kind of famous hotel that had like ducks in a pond and it was really cool. I don't know why they were, apparently they had a circus guy come in and he brought ducks into the fountain and ever since then they just keep ducks in the fountain. But anyways, they had this cool thing I never saw before, but apparently is a staple in a lot of these fancy higher-end hotels, and it's these pianos that just play themselves. Like, it's a regular piano, and someone could sit down and play at it, but it's like the keys will go down by themselves and just play stuff. I had never seen something like that before in my life, and I thought it was really cool.
Okay.
And you just talking about the pianos just reminded me, like, oh yeah, maybe he'd have something really fancy like that.
Can I tie that into Daryl?
Yes.
Please
I
do.
think
sure
that
the
would be a
piano was
really
playing
fun match
themselves.
start animation.
Oh, where he's just like sitting there playing piano, kind of? Or...
Yeah, he's playing piano and then he stands up and the piano keeps playing.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
That's wicked.
Yeah.
Now that we're
Good,
getting
kinda...
To get like...
No disrespect to the base game round start and round in animations, but now that they're getting better, I think that would be really fun.
Yeah.
Oh my god, okay, ready? Fanfiction territory, right? Round start animation.
all right.
Daryl's sitting there playing his little piano. On the top, you can see a little teacup, and it's got like a cup in there, and it's got like a little sweet popping out, or I don't know, like what you could put in there. Maybe like one of those sugary stick things where you put it in your mouth and you chew on them. And he slides the teacup across the piano as he does a little and he picks up the teacup, drinks it, and then he looks at the opponent and is like, what are you doing here? And then he starts fighting.
Interrupting his work.
How'd you get in my house?
You can only play on the stage that is his house.
Yeah.
Actually, can I, speaking of Daryl's house and speaking of fan fiction, can I tell a story?
Go right ahead.
So,
Yes.
Please.
recently, I was in charge of what was essentially to simplify it, was essentially a Guilty Gear, a D&D campaign in the Guilty Gear world.
That's
okay.
Sounds very fun.
Yeah,
I would kill to play that.
so it was just like basically me and 3 of my friends just going around fighting Guilty Gear characters, but we had this one thing where we had seen Robo-Kai burning down Jam's restaurant, and comedic misunderstandings, we thought it was actual Kai. So we went to what we thought was Kai's house and wrecked the place.
No, don't tell me it was actually
no.
Well, my friend came up with this wonderful idea that it wasn't actually Kai's house, and he was going to go off and say it was like some random Illyrian guard, but I just like shot him at like just a message that was like, make it Daryl, make it Daryl. And so for the entire rest of the thing, like, he was just beefing with us. Daryl hated us the entire rest of the time.
Yeah. It's totally something that would happen to Daryl, too.
Exactly the thing that happened was one of my friends had water magic and, quote, turned his house into a pool.
Oh no! That's like the worst kind of damage to do.
It's the Home Alone water bandit.
At the very end.
You guys turned my house into SeaWorld.
At the very end, Daryl's last line was, "You know what? I give up. You be the king." And then he walked off.
Oh my god, that's so good.
The horrible consequences that would have for Illyria when the two other kings absolutely hate doing paperwork.
You know, okay, it balances out, right? Because Leo gets no bitches, Kai, gets nothing but trauma, and horrible things happening constantly. Daryl gets no house. Easy as that.
Totally
Kai's the only king with
Every
pictures.
Halloween, his eggs get house.
Wow. Also, I don't know how accurate it is that Leo gets no bitches when people are always talking about how hot he is in their interactions.
Yes, but that's
Just
the funny
because
thing,
you get
he's not
called
aware.
hot doesn't mean you get bitches. Yeah.
You know,
He's
that's
just
true.
a little dense.
It is insane to me that Leo is canonically like the sexiest character.
I know.
I disagree.
It's true.
I know that's what the text says, but I disagree.
That is what the show is all about. You're so
Well,
real.
there's an equal argument for Nagoriyuki at this point too, so...
I'm fine with that. That's fine.
Yeah.
Rose eyes are beautiful. It's just, you can't beat that.
Really about a crush on a French guy?
Really think about what you're doing here.
It just occurred to me, what country is Daryl from? Is he British? He doesn't have an accent,
confirmation?
so I can't go off of that. But,
Yeah.
like, the name Daryl, it's not German, is it? Is it French?
I really don't know.
I think.
I mean-
I think he's just Illyrian, honestly.
Yeah.
He's just a white guy.
Yeah.
He is a white man.
Oh my god.
Also, didn't the British accent, like, die out in the Guilty
Well,
Gear universe
It did,
canonically?
kinda, so...
There's a really
Yeah.
interesting. I don't know if this is a theory or if it's like confirmed, but it's like I've seen. I think it's a theory that the Southern accent, the American Southern accent, is the only like different accent that remains.
That's like.
Because the only person with a British accent is Axel, who's from, normal times.
Yeah, he's a time traveler.
But then Gold Lewis has a Southern accent, Johnny has a Southern accent, everyone else...
Viking has a southern accent, but although I guess it's really that she has a Kansai accent, and that's just what they translated it as. But...
Yeah. But, it's like, I personally think it would be really funny if the Southern accent was the only one that's still around.
There's some really interesting lore implications to that in the sense that, so obviously America went to complete hell and back because they started the Crusades, they had justice in America and she decimated everything, and everything's a desert and has giant gear bones everywhere. Does that mean that, like, the people that survived in America were like, holy shit, I'm getting out of here, and they just spread across the entire world?
I wouldn't blame them.
Yeah.
Speaking of America being a desert, please invite me back when you guys do an episode on Burger Sheriff.
Oh.
No, that's Gold Lewis's brother, right?
Yeah, Gold Lewis's brother, Burger Sheriff.
Yeah.
Burger Sheriff Dickinson, how could you forget?
Very strong, classical American name.
I wonder what kind of stage Daryl would have if he would have added. Like, I guess it would just, like we talked about, it could be like his house, but I think Slayer already, like, owns all houses for all eternity.
Maybe his stage is Slayer's house.
That would make sense. He was trying to recruit the Assassin's Guild. There's precedent.
There's precedent.
It's like, I'm here to make a business deal.
Shout out to Daryl, who saw the deadliest, most evil people on the planet who have been running the shadow government, and just as they start to dissolve, he's like, I want you. Get in here. You're with me. I fuck
Hey
with
guys,
you guys.
do you not want to go to jail?
Ooh, you guys all want to do my bidding so badly?
Well, I think it's a very pragmatic decision because he recognizes, like, well, clearly the shadow government has been around. Why not just put them on the payroll so we can watch over them? This is just going to be something that's happening regardless, so at least, they could send me a report and be like, we just killed this guy.
Yeah.
Daryl,
Killed
it's
this
me,
guy,
Kai
sorry.
Kiske. You better not be absolving any shadow governments and absorbing them into our government. I don't know why I thought that, but it'd be really bad if you were doing that.
Plus, like, let's.
Also,
Sorry, Kai, I have unfortunate news.
I feel it's prudent to inform you.
So, like, let's.
I think it's crazy too because not only did he absorb the Assassin's Guild, and he personally has Zato and Milia at the highest positions of government he could think of, but they then go under Leo's wing and strive, and they're both like, yeah, we're your dogs now. We're just dogs of the government. Don't mind us. We're just doing our job. Do.
Exactly. It was a
Daryl,
pragmatic as he
well.
reined them in. Yeah.
In
He
Daryl's
ran.
defense, you really only have to worry about Milia right now.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
Zato's
Eddie Duke's
not
gonna
going to
reach
be
out.
much of a problem. Just, like, lock him in a room.
Milia's got
He'll walk in circles until Milia comes back. You're fine.
Zato's wearing a t-shirt with a right arrow that says, I'm with Milia, and Milia's wearing a t-shirt with a left arrow that says, I'm with stupid.
I think she's just wearing a t-shirt that says "fuck this guy."
Yeah.
I'm not with this guy.
I never met this man in my life.
I don't know
Who is
this
he?
Who this man? Why he everywhere?
Linker, no.
Circling back to what I think Daryl's stage would look like, we've had Guilty Gear stages be in, like, the backyard, other dimensions. What if it's just, like, a fever dream and we're just playing on top of the pudding?
You got cut off a bit. What'd you say at the end?
I said, what if it's just like a fever dream and we're playing on top of the pudding?
So, like,
I honestly.
So, like, Garfield
I'll
stage
break
from
to the
Nick
other side of
All-Stars.
the pudding.
Yes!
Sorry, you said that, and all I could imagine was like the dessert levels of Mario Kart and like Sonic Colors. It was just like, oh, and here's cakes everywhere. It's all happy. You can see like what is it, the Illyrian government people in the background, Zappa and Randy and all of them, and they're all jumping for joy in the background. It's like, woo!
It's gonna be like that one Kirby game.
When's the Randy
It's like, yeah, this is the stage of this guy.
Randy episode. We gotta get that set up.
I've seen one person that's obsessed with Randy, so you know,
Yeah,
everyone's
Randy's a
got
cool
shooters.
guy.
Oh shit! Never laugh at another man's
like-
dream.
I love Randy's first reaction to there. I was like, damn, you are sucking the fun out of this entire party. I'm leaving.
It's not supposed to be fun. The world's going to have been ending before. This is supposed to be for relief.
I think it's very cute how much he gets into, like, other people's dreams in the sense where it's like, hey, you know, if you think about it, he's kind of like Robo-Kai too, where he is so fundamentally humanist, where he's like, I believe in humanity above all else, no fake shit, and that is exactly why I support you in getting the world record for the largest pudding. Doesn't matter how stupid it is to you, it's important to me. Where it's like, oh,
This is real as fuck.
he's like a very aggressive life coach. I appreciate that.
I have a very important Daryl question.
Yes.
If Kai goes through with stepping down, does Leo get bumped up, and does Daryl also get bumped up? Is that how it works?
And then Randy becomes the new
It
third king.
almost certainly works like that, but I guarantee Daryl is sitting his ass down at number 3 still. Like, he does not want to be in the limelight at all.
I do not need to be
No.
any higher than I am.
I was rewatching Strive today, and I saw he's like, oh man, I'm really dreading going to this conference. I really don't want to do it. Oh, come on, guys. And Leo's like, I'm running security. You have to go do it. And also, you're gonna die out there. And he's like, oh man, you're making me more anxious about this. Oh,
Yeah,
fuck.
come on, dude.
What a guy.
I think now would finally be a good time to talk about Daryl and his relationship with Happy Chaos, and how it kind of came out of nowhere, but how it makes so much sense, and how they have the best scene in all of Strive, which I think many people could kind of agree on, where it's that they're both pointing the guns at each other, and Daryl makes his like grand plan to escape. Like, dude, that was so fucking cool.
It is, yeah.
How does he
So before we
I
start
hope
this
that
very
that
serious
is-
talk,
Oh.
since it was stated that, you know, he is not a fan of coffee, what do you think he is a fan of, drink-wise?
Calm.
Well, I'm drawing him here with hot
Yeah.
chocolate.
fair,
I think
yeah.
you drink hot chocolate, absolutely.
Oh, right. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
I want to piggyback off of that and say that he doesn't like coffee, but he is one of those bitches that has, like, a 35-bit itemized list of things to tell the people at Starbucks to make.
Yeah.
Just, like, pumped full of a disgusting amount of sugar. It's like some kind of frappuccino with, like, a swirl.
I need 7 pumps of white mocha.
I will know if it's 6.
He takes a sip and he's like, oh, he messed it up. This is 5.5.
I will be driving back.
You didn't put enough pump into that 7.
I feel like he's the type of guy who, like, he feels like a Red Bull guy.
No, he's just...
He
has the Red Bull wall in his room.
Just using that to power through the day.
He doesn't
I can kind of see him.
know.
I can kind of see him as being someone that only drinks Gatorade for electrolytes, even though he's not doing any physical activity ever.
Is that why he's so unusually buff?
I feel like
It's all Gatorade.
What they
It's
don't know
all
is that he
Gatorade.
lifts 5 times every time Leo says something stupid. So that's why he's so buff.
Every time Leo busts out his dictionary.
But I think it's
I
super
don't know what Leo has in his dictionary about Daryl. Probably just stick up his ass, honestly.
pointy. Daryl.
Pointy.
Evil. Daryl? Question mark.
Almost Daryl.
Sorry, I just remembered how Leo implies that he fucks your mom in Strive with his dictionary.
Oh, yeah.
What is his deal? Daryl's around this all day. He has to listen to this.
Listen,
I think that's why
if Leo
Daryl's the
was
way he
your
is.
coworker, you would be grumpy too.
But I really like Daryl. Sorry, if I can get into now. I have a big, not running theory, but I guess this is my analysis on Daryl, and it's the reason why I like him so much. And I've brought it up a bit on Twitter, but I thought this would also be a good place to bring it up. And it's that my analysis that Daryl is the true villain of Exerd. Not in Strive, but in Exerd, in the sense that you think everything's about Ariel's. Everything leads to being about Ariel's and her conquest and her definition of humanity and this and that. And all the cast members go through a struggle to define humanity and to be like, no, humans are worth saving. We are not remaking anything. Sorry, I got hiccups.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine.
And then everything's saved. We got everyone saved. We got Arya to emerge with. Sorry, we got Jacko to emerge with justice. We have Jacko, Arya now. Soul didn't get exploded by nukes or anything. Sorry, Soul did not get exploded by aerials. Everything's safe. Axolo came in. Deus Ex Machina. We're all good. Woo! But then out of nowhere, Daryl shows up. And Daryl is a character that was introduced in this game. He was never mentioned prior. All we knew was like, oh yeah, there's a third king, but we didn't even know his name. He was just, oh yeah, there's 3 kings of Illyria. We have Kai, we have Leo, and there's also Daryl. We don't know. Daryl just shows up after taking the Assassin's Guild, which was something that happened off screen, and you could almost think like, oh, that doesn't even matter. And he's like, hey, so I built a weapon that could destroy Justice after Justice has already been a thing. And I want to blow you up, Soul Bad Guy, and Justice over there, because I do not believe that this is safe at all. I don't care who you are. You need to go down. This is, I am not gonna let the world be consumed by Justice again and have more people die. From an essentialist point of view, this is too dangerous. I'm not even risking it. 2 people is not worth the lives of 2 billion that are left alive right now. And it's, like, Daryl is representative of the humanity that Soul had just tried so hard desperately to save. You know, Ariel said, oh, humanity is constantly at each other's throats, and they attack each other because they constantly have fear that people are encroaching on their own spaces. You know, countries go to war because they want each other's land, and they're afraid that they're going to attack them first. And, you know, we'll expand to the sea, but we'll have nothing left to expand for, and humanity will die in a big gray blob, and there is no humanity. And Soul says, no, I don't care, we're all fireworks. We all have beautiful things about us, but we all have struggles, and that's what makes us human. Well, here's the biggest struggle possible. Daryl, an elected politician, symbolizing big government that no one likes, that no one cares about, walks in and says, I have a nuclear power, I'm going to nuke you, I don't care, all your hopes will die. And I think that's just and obviously Soul wins because he has the love of his friends. He has Axel, he has Jacko, he has Kai, he has Sin, all of them cheering him on, and it's because he decided to reach out and save Axel, that Axel's the one that saves him. And if you see there that the core of humanity is that people care for each other. And after this happens, and after Soul miraculously survives like 8 nukes being pointed his way, Daryl's like, damn, I don't believe in gods, but I have to accept this as an answer. I completely surrender. This is what humanity is, sure. And I think that's just such a nice bookmark or a bookend to what Exord is, that I think is really beautiful. And that when Strive comes around, Daryl is very much a good guy, because now he fully believes there is a good to humanity. It's not all negativity. I don't have to be afraid for my life and everyone else's life. I don't have to point weapons at anyone. Although he does point a weapon at Happy Chaos, which is kind of funny. But he's doing everything for other people by caring for them. And I think, like, the fact that we get that really long scene with, you know, Zappa and Randy and the pudding and everything in After Story C, like, kind of shows that, hey, there was humanity to this character that was this nuclear holocaust kind of guy where he was gonna go full everything. I really appreciate that. I think it's just a nice little way to do writing, and I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think more than anything... Oh, yeah?
Oh, I was just gonna say something I noticed, to tie back into an earlier point, where, we were talking about how Daryl almost has, like, this objective fact, anti-religion motifs with him, and it's very interesting that you mention that I guess his perspective of the world almost, like, aligned with Ariel's motivation and why she was going to wipe it.
Yeah.
And I just think it's kind of ironic. I really dig that parallel.
In the story too, like, Daryl is against Ariel's, and he's supporting everyone taking her down, and he does support everyone doing everything that they do to stop Ariel's, to save the world and everything. But the second he sees Justice, which is this giant, terrifying, naked, alien-looking creature, he immediately turns back onto fear, and he's like, I have people to protect. I'm a politician. I'm a president. I'm a king. I need to protect everyone. I don't care what anyone else says. Kai, I'm taking you out of there. You tell me differently, I don't care. I'm taking you out of there. Soul, I don't really care about you at all. You're not my friend. I'm going to kill you because I'm afraid, and I don't care if it'll make 2 people happy. I need to save 2 billion. He is very fundamentalist. I don't care about people. I care about the world as a whole, which also is really interesting because it ties back into what Jacko does at the end of Strive, where she says, hey, I don't care about myself and being Jacko. I have to become the world and be Arya. I have to save everyone from Eno and kill myself. To which Soul once again does the same thing and says, no, I will always prioritize saving one person over saving the entire world, because that is what, you know, humanity is. It is beautiful, and it is cherishing people that you love and creating a better world because you value that one person. And I just think the fact that Daryl gets so beautifully shut out like that is really cool.
Yeah, but I think it's definitely still very important to have that aspect, right? Because it's like he's showing that the argument that Ariel's is presenting isn't totally toothless, like that there are people like this, but also there's a certain virtue in people behaving that way, you know? Like, it's not just something to be entirely demonized, to be frightened and to be cautious. There is such a thing as a healthy amount of anxiety, and I think you kind of spoke a little bit about his interactions with Happy Chaos. I think that's like a perfect example of that being extremely relevant. Like, one of the biggest reasons they're able to stop HC is because Daryl is a naturally very wary, cautious, and fearful person. And it's not like it doesn't rule him. He's still trying to maintain that sort of objectivist point of view. But, you know, it's a tool. It's just as valuable as any other emotion when used correctly. But, yeah. I don't know. I don't know if you had more to say about the HC Daryl interaction, because I feel like that's one of the richer points for him that I didn't have as many notes on.
Well, first, if anyone else has something to say, go right ahead before I end up going on a tiny splurge about HC, I guess.
So, really quick, this is just a small thing. I think it's really funny how if you look at that scene and you look at all of the characters in that scene, you can very easily tell which one is like a main character because they're all wearing like, black suits, and then there's just Daryl who has like pointy blonde hair, purple clothes.
What if it's funnier? It's just like, oh, that's just what all Illyrians look like. They all look like anime protagonists.
He's the most normal guy.
Be kind of cool though if we got Vernon and he still looks the same exact way he does in the Strive story, where it's just a man in a suit with an arm.
Oh, please.
Man with an arm.
Man with arm.
Man with an arm.
Cyber arm.
Unheard
Sorry.
concept.
You don't often see that.
Hey, Biken's a man
no.
with only one arm, so.
True.
Duck, I think
do
that's
really enjoy the Happy Chaos Daryl dynamic. I think actually that interaction was what like made me actually like Daryl. Just because like they bounce off of each other so well. I'd really like to see more of them in the future.
I think, like, first of all, I think it's very funny if you go on AO3, you'll just find Daryl actually is a popular character in fanfiction, which is very weird to think, and that's because there is someone that, obviously Daryl and Happy Chaos is a thing that exists, but there has been someone that, like, just writes Daryl and Venom over and over and over again,
Awesome.
where, like,
That's awesome.
he's one of the top ships in the fandom because one person is really, really into Daryl and Venom.
God bless.
You
God,
know
our
what? Good for
stronger
them.
soldier. Thank God.
Right?
But I think Daryl and Happy Chaos have a very, very fun dynamic where it's like, I don't think Happy Chaos expected to find someone that was on his wavelength at all. Like, he was expecting just, like, weird politicians to only care about themselves and, like, not to be too afraid. And then here comes Daryl, who's just giving him a scowl the whole time and is actually playing along and asking him his motivations and things like that. Where it's like, oh, cool, I'll just tell you my entire plan. This is awesome. I didn't expect you to do this at all. Let's go.
I didn't think anyone would ask.
And I think the fact that Daryl, like, I really like seeing him be so conniving with the whole coffee thing where he's like, oh, I'm not even a fan of coffee. And he does his action line and he turns around and steals a gun. The fact that if he even shot the gun at Happy Chaos, that it wouldn't even work because Happy Chaos is immortal, but Happy Chaos just goes along with it anyway because it's interesting for the script and that it's so funny. It's so cool.
Okay, I know we're
Love
talking about Daryl. I know we're talking, but can I just say how much I really love Happy Chaos's whole, like, oh, just go with, like, my script, like, oh, I'll play the hero next time. I don't know.
Yeah.
Love him.
Yeah.
I think it's with that exaggeration to say that Happy Chaos is the, like, core of Strive story. And for a lot of people, I know, like, Strive story was a miss, but usually what I hear from casuals is like, oh, Strive was kind of but Happy Chaos was the best part. And it's like, I can't deny, Happy Chaos is so fucking entertaining. I think it's interesting to write a Komida character the way they did with him. I really like him.
What a thing to say, but you're absolutely right. It's true, and you should say it. But yeah, no, I really appreciate how, like, Daryl was the exact perfect character to put in that room with HC to flesh them both out so much more, because, like, it's only through Daryl, more than, like, any other, like, you know, major political figure that we're aware of in Guilty Gear, that, like, HC could actually be challenged, because nobody is just on that level conversationally. Like, we have these, like, incredible power-scaling feats that, you know, your Leia Whitefangs and Soul bad guys and Kai Kisks of the world are capable of, but Daryl's kind of the only one on the level of, like, let's, like, pay attention to the things that people are saying. Like, he's the cunning guy, and I really like showing that there's, like, value in that. In a meaningful way by, like, moving the plot forward, and then also giving us, like, a platform to show that Daryl is a hero in his own right, you know, like, while he's not going around doing those things that I described, like, he performs a very essential function, not just, like, in Illyria, but in Strive as a whole. Like, this is the guy who's really going to pick apart the things that characters are saying and not just let them, like, go out and have all the other characters be like, oh, interesting, right? Like, Daryl's interrogating HC, even though it doesn't feel like it. Like, he's holding that conversation to be like, oh, I also don't care much for fate, or how do you know what you're writing is really nonfiction? Like, that's so compelling and really sick to me.
I think that scene was super important to have because Exerd ends with this character being the most evilest guy ever, that tries to kill our two main characters, Soul and Jacko. and just gets off scot-free. So I can imagine that's why on those polls he's ranking so high as one of the hated characters, because it's like, hey, he tried to kill the main characters and he's kind of a dick about it. So I think having that scene in Strive where it's like, hey, he was the linchpin that allowed a lot of this stuff to go on was really cool and important. Like, hey, he is a hero too. He is someone that cares about people too. He is not this asshole that's killing people. Like, he has virtuous, like, motivations as well.
Another thing, I think that works so well with Chaos and Daryl is that, like, they're almost, like, fundamentally opposites. Like you said earlier, Daryl strives for order, he wants humanity to be protected, while Happy Chaos is like, let's make chaos for the hell of it, right? But to be there and to know that about these two characters and watching them interact, and them, like, actually, I would say get along, you know, they play off of each other, and they, like,
They
you know,
have
actually have a
dynamic,
conversation.
which is really good.
Yeah, I think that really says a lot about Guilty Gear as a whole, where if the whole message of Guilty Gear is about how humanity is beautiful in all of its flaws and its, like, differences, then these two people who have, you know, strive for completely different outcomes with how, like, you know, they view the world, they can still, you know, fuck around, play off of each other a little bit, you know? Respect each other.
Yeah.
Maybe not, Daryl doesn't respect him, but I think Happy Chaos at least enjoys Daryl's presence.
I think it says something too. I thank you for reminding me with what you said. I've seen a really, really common complaint for GG's writing in general, and for the way Daisuke writes stuff, in that he gets too preachy, which I will admit, he is super preachy, but that's something I really like about the series, and how characters will just talk to each other for a really long time, and while action doesn't exactly happen, and it kind of feels like Daryl's the opposite of that. Daryl, whenever he's on screen, he is doing something. He's not exactly preachy. He will go out on screen, like, talk about meander a little bit, and then just boom, action, this, that. He's looking for a clear, concise goal, which I think is super cool. And I think I realized when you were talking about how, like, fundamentally opposed HC and Daryl are, that I realized HC is someone that will talk about the truth, but the truth is so outlandish, it's like he's talking about something else entirely, and Daryl is someone who will openly be talking about something else entirely, but he's actually, like, conniving you and lying and trying to find the truth of something. Like, he'll be talking about, like, oh, I really like coffee, I really want this, and this is all just a plan so we can get the gun and then, you know, attack Chaos. And, you know,
It's
HC
like-
is then someone that will be like, oh, what if we put two guys on the moon and one of them killed the other with a rock, kind of stuff, where it's like, he's always talking about something else, even though he's referring to the present moment, and Daryl's someone, like, I think that's cool.
Yeah.
I hope I
It's
made
like
sense
Daryl
with that.
searches. No, I get you. It's like Daryl searches for the truth, and Chaos knows the truth, in quotes, but he doesn't want to give it away that easy, because where's the fun in that?
I want to
Absolutely.
make you work for it.
Daryl, who would win? A billion lions or one of every Pokemon?
Well, I think that's kind of a preposterous question, and
I've
then
always
on
been
a
more of a
note,
Digimon person.
Pokemon aren't real. However,
I think it's just so fun too. Like, and I think the fact that, like, when you really pull it apart, it's kind of an action movie dynamic. Where
Yeah.
it's very Western. I like it a lot. It's very unique.
It's very like James Bond conversation with James Bond antagonist.
But instead of
Where-
James Bond and the antagonist, it's a fucking blue guy and some white boy.
okay, don't get me started on my tangent about potential Guilty Gear spin-offs. But Metal Gear Solid Daryl.
I can go on forever about how many Metal Gear parallels there are with, like, Guilty Gear. It is there. Put Daryl in that.
Miwen Military
These
Industrial
gears.
Complex.
Damn, that military-industrial was complex.
Military Industrial Complex? I find it rather simple.
Really?
Shit, that's how Exert ends.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And
On the subject of ending, should...
sorry. On the
On-
topic of Guilty Gear, Metal Gear Rising Biken. That I'm just.
That is,
Yeah.
I think, also very, very astute. I think that those narratives line up pretty well.
I'm trying to think, like, I think there's a Jetstream Sam Nago mod, but I don't know if there's one for Biken, so someone get on that.
Just make her playable. Just make Biken playable in every game.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Yeah.
True! just every game, like, just in general, like, she's in Tetris. She's one of the blocks.
Hey, Puyo Puyo Tetris is, like, those games aren't opposed to crossover characters. They had Sonic, so...
True!
Lila,
True.
what the hell is going on here? You better put that L block down on me this instant.
She wouldn't know where to put the L block.
When are we getting the pinball Guilty Gear game that's canon to the lore?
Oh my god, true. We already have Patchy Slot. It's right there. It's right there. We can easily do this.
Which character would turn into a pinball? Oh, wait! I guess Venom would turn everyone into a pinball.
Yeah, you could have different
everyone's
pinballs.
pinballs.
Hear me out, Guilty Gear Suika game. We just get, like, one of them can be Rumble head. We can get, like, Venom Cue Ball.
Venom got tired of running the bakery. He opened a casino.
I think there's...
Oh
I would go
God.
to a casino too if it had like bomb-ass suites.
I'd go to a casino if Robo-Kai was the cash register. Are you kidding me?
I would go to school if this was the teacher.
If this was the uniform.
This is the cash register.
It's just Robo-Kai 3 times.
Do you think Daryl went to Tumblr University?
Oh, you know Daryl knows what Yuminiko is.
Went to Yahoo Answers University.
Alright, Potterheads, grab your wands.
Install your dragon.
Install your dragon gearsters. Oh, it's horrible.
But Daryl, I have over 5 million powers.
Oh my god. That's why he's the third king. They're like, what do you do?
Kai, Leo, we are under fucking attack. Download
We
my...
are under siege.
Daryl with huge tits. Play my Game Boy. Save
play
my
the
country. Yes, Mr. Daryl. Me when my evil Daryl tell me to do something.
The Daryl in my ear tells me to do something.
Oh my god.
That would be a good thing to bring up. In terms of his design and in terms of his hair, the fact that, like, other fighting game characters are also based off of Flock of Seagulls for some reason. I don't get that. Like, you have Ed, you have I don't know the KOF character, I think it's Chris, but I don't know. But, like, why are there so many fighting game characters with this hairstyle now that I think about it?
Nobody else had run.
A good hairstyle.
Yeah.
He rocks it.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, it's Charlie from Street Fighter. I think there's a KOF character too. I swear to God, I'm not...
Maybe that's why he was elected, because I don't think any other politician would rock that hairstyle.
Maybe they gave Kai, Leo, and Daryl all the same haircut, and whoever rocked it got elected third king.
I really want to see Leo with the Flock of Seagulls haircut.
That's fucked up. I can't imagine that at all.
No, fucked up, evil, twisted Leo.
Just to look into my twisted mind.
Yeah.
Dark, twisted reality.
My dark psyche.
would make a normal person go insane.
I really like the color scheme of the Three Kings. I think the brown, orange, and purple is just really good. I really like the one promo image that's in the gallery of all of them standing next to each other, and you just have Daryl with his little, what's it? I guess pudding, right? I was gonna say jelly,
everyone's all
flan,
like
but...
battle ready.
Evil Daryl.
Why does Daryl... Okay, listen, I know he's never gonna be playable. I've made peace with that. Why does he get so much stuff if he's never gonna be playable? It makes me sad.
Shout out to Daryl, who has more official art, more in-canon shit than fucking Bedman, because... and like,
God.
it's fucked up.
Why did...
I'll also shout out to Xavier, who recently found that official, Bedman art. We found one, finally, one
We
sketch.
found
The one Daisuke sketch.
Why did...
Well, clearly
God,
this means...
I can't believe how much Daisuke both hates and loves Bedman.
Yeah.
It's so weird to me.
I feel the same way.
Yeah.
The intention of the character. I don't know. I finished Exert and I was like, Batman's my favorite character of all time. I love him so much. And then like he died, and I was like, fuck. But then we got Delilah, so it's okay.
Yeah.
I actually started the story with Strive, I think like right before Bridget came out, and then I went back and played Exard, and I'm like, shit, this little bitch is the most entertaining person here.
We're missing the twat. Where is he?
Where'd he go?
So,
Well, what
I
happened?
I guess it'd be a good thing to ask. As Daryl lovers, what is your other, like, is there a favorite character you have outside of Daryl? I want to see if there's, like, any connections here.
my favorite character is Kai.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I really like Izuna, like a lot.
So
that's
so
real.
based.
Need Azuna
That
and
is
Strive
so
so
based.
He's also a little shitter, you know?
Yeah, I'm seeing the
He's
connection.
great. Yeah, no, to no surprise, my favorite character is Batman. Also a little shitter.
Fucking godlike. Art, you play him as well?
Thank you, you flatter me.
Shit, I just realized, if Daryl really did have a sweets mechanic in Strive, I wonder if it would be like Jamie's drink level, where it's like the more sweets he has, the more crazy he can go.
God. The more he powers up.
You're really trying to give bro pudding install?
Yo!
Pudding
They're in
and
those
stuff.
random grandpa strawberry candies you don't know the name of. He would have an entire bag of those.
He knows people don't like them, but he gives them out anyway.
Wait, hold on. What do you
He's
mean
like an
don't
evil
like?
granny.
Excuse
What do you
me?
mean don't like them? I
Well, yeah,
got a
what do you
whole
mean
bag
don't
of
Am I
them
alone in
myself.
this? Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
I love
I
green
didn't mean to
candies.
slander the grandma strawberry candies. I'm so sorry.
Wow.
Wait, you hate those strawberry candies?
They're so difficult to eat for my small mouth.
Why do you date me? I love them!
Why is your mouth so small?
I don't know. I think I'm a medical anomaly.
You look like a bird.
Yeah.
If people saw you, they'd be like, wow, you look like a bird.
I look
Wow,
like...
is that a person or just a really big bird?
Yeah.
Whoa, is that
No.
Daryl?
Wow. I could only
Wow.
hope.
I don't even know how I'd feel if someone compared me to Daryl.
I feel like I wouldn't feel too good.
If someone physically compared me to Daryl, I don't know how I'd feel. If someone said, you know, you remind me of Daryl from Guilty Gear, I think I'd just be more shocked than hurt.
Yeah, it's just like, how do you know that?
How do you know
Yeah.
Daryl?
You're lying.
Oh, me and Daryl, we go way back.
I met Daryl in real life.
Yeah.
Could be worse. You could get like, wow, you really remind me of Faust Guilty Gear. Just something about you.
There are a lot of people who would be
That would be a
overjoyed to hear
compliment.
that.
So happy.
Okay, you know
I
what?
would be so happy.
Yeah.
Sorry, you know, for a quick second, I forgot the numerous trans men that I know that kin Faust and are like, this is me.
Yeah.
He's literally me. They jump up and click their heels whenever they're compared to him.
Like a leprechaun.
Like floating
But
by with when there's a pie nearby, they smell them, but it's like Faust Guilty Gear.
Insane bald man. But they're so real for that. Genuinely, they're so real for that. Like, God bless.
Yeah.
For lack of a better term, I strive to bring the level of whimsy into this world that Faust does.
Yes.
God,
Yes.
yeah.
Guys, what if Daryl was bald?
Oh my god. No.
Strangely enough,
I don't
I
want
think
to
I'd be
imagine
more
this.
fans for
New
him.
theory.
Wait,
Faust isn't Dr. Bald.
Oh shit.
Daryl.
Daryl.
And Baldhead just grew hair.
Oh my god. Oh,
what?
wig?
Why didn't he grow hair instead of putting a bag on his head? Is he stupid?
What if Faust took the bag off and he had one beautiful, bouncy baby hair underneath?
I'm
Aw.
saying, like,
He's like,
it's
oh, I
for
couldn't
the
be Dr.
aesthetic,
Baldhead.
you wouldn't get it.
What if Faust took off the bag and he just had like a really nice mustache?
Oh, very professional.
I can't even, like, my brain is cycling through what colors the mustache would be because I literally
It's just
can't
like a bright
imagine
pink
a
for
hair
some
color.
reason.
It's like a rainbow handlebar mustache.
It just grows in like that. That's why I have to shave my head
can't
up more.
It just looks like that naturally.
Zappa's like, Faust Sensei, what medicine did you take to get hair like that? And he's just like, Medicine? What?
Medicine?
This is all natural, baby.
Hachi Mama.
In my attempt for like 2 years to get my friends interested in Guilty Gear, I just kept like just making things with all of the characters that I thought they might like. So I just like have so many just random sketches of Faust. Most of them are like me and Faust dating just because I thought that was funny.
Aww.
That's wonderful.
Me and my boyfriend Faust.
I want to clarify, I wouldn't date Faust. I just thought it was really funny.
You claim. You claim.
But what if he really put the moves on you?
Now, I mean, if he, like...
He's got some whimsical wrists.
Yeah. You know, if
Absolutely.
Get me a man that JD's like this.
if he, like, used his magical door and took me to a really nice dinner, I mean...
Aww.
I'd think about it.
Faust would treat you right. Daryl, I'm not sure, but...
He's showing you wholesome pictures of him
Daryl
with
would be
Faust.
too busy.
True.
Sorry, I'm just imagining, like, Guilty Gear characters and how good the date would be. I think Leia would treat you so right, but he would fuck up dinner or something. Like, he would cook you a turkey himself, but he would mess it up, but he'd be so upset about it, but he'd try really hard to be like, I made the table for you, and I polished my shoes for you, and I did all, oh my god, and you get, like, fast food or something instead.
You're at the
But
nicest.
he's so cute about it.
It's funny that you mentioned, like, dating Faust, because I used to do the same shit to get one of my friends into Guilty Gear. I opened up the game and I scrolled through the cast, and honestly, I thought that they're like Sin. Like, they're very similar to Sin in personality, but I scroll over to Faust and Strive, and the first thing they go is, oh my god, oogly boogly,
Exploring,
heavens.
exploring the Faust connection.
I have a great...
You know, maybe it wasn't just the voice actor. Maybe there's something deeper that's really connecting Daryl and Faust here.
Being immensely cunty.
I have a good friend who, he doesn't play Guilty Gear, but he has definitely watched us play it, and we were scrolling through the character select in Strive, and he saw Gold Lewis, and for like, anytime he sees Guilty Gear now, he's like, where am I? Where's me? He named Gold Lewis as himself, and I love it.
That is so awesome, but also not at all where I was expecting that to go. I thought you were about to give me the platform that I needed to say that Gold Lewis is really hot, but
No, stage is yours.
What it turned out being, but I just wanted to put that out into the universe.
Yes,
Yeah.
we get it. Thank you.
He's very handsome. He has a great personality.
He's very, very handsome.
Yeah.
I think he's definitely in the top half there for the
Yeah,
cast.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Shit, what do I'm trying to think of, like, if I look at the cast and I say, that's me. Do I really have to claim May? I kind of don't want to claim May.
You can take anybody else that you want. You feel like Sin. You feel like an
I
elf.
like Sin a lot.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna...
You know, I'll claim Delilah. You know, she's a cute little
That is
guy.
true. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I had this me moment when I played Overture and I saw Izuna, and he was just funky uncle.
Yeah.
Doing weird voices. I'm like, god
At
damn.
some point, I need to
Exactly.
approach you about. Do you actually know how to play Overture? Because I completed story, but I don't know a single fucking thing to do in that game, and I know it has
Oh, no,
multiplayer. but
I don't know how to play it. I just played it.
No,
I have to
no.
go on a quest to find one person that knows how to play that game.
Yeah, you're feeling
play Overture. It's not real.
you're feeling the
Overture isn't real. What are you talking about?
It was a hoax made up as a joke, but you're feeling the palpable dread in D right now as he's trying to consider what the fuck we're going to do for the Izna episode.
No, Jay, I am not fretting at all. There is.
Yeah.
First of all, Duck can come back on for Izuna,
Yeah,
easy,
yeah.
right?
We got that.
I think
Beautiful.
I've had a handful of people ask me, hey, can I get on for Izuna? He's my special interest because no one else cares about him, which I think is beautiful because it shows, hey, there are people that care about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes being a foxy grandpa is all you need.
Literally Foxy Grandpa.
But
Shit, how old is Daryl?
the problem is, I don't know if he has a confirmed
He's
age anywhere.
23.
This is
He's 23! He had like the Obama hyper aging.
He's gotta be at least 2.
I'm I'm 12.
There's a reason why he doesn't like coffee.
Kai, Leo,
I'm not
I would like
old
to
enough
go
to drink
home.
coffee
I must
yet.
be tucked in.
My dad says I have
Someone
to go
read me a
home right
bedtime
now.
story.
He has a little sleepy cap. He has the propeller cap and then the lollipop.
He's got the long nightgown with the candle and the little droopy hat.
Well, I'm off.
Okay, Daryl would rock a nightgown, though. I can see him
Yeah,
You
absolutely,
cannot
yep.
say he'd rock the Ebenezer Scrooge.
Unironically.
It is so comfy. It really
It's
is.
efficient and comfortable.
My God.
Do you think his hair is naturally like that, or do you think like he's got so much gel in his hair that it's hard?
When he wakes up, it's in the other way, so he has to gel it to the other side.
Yeah.
I think that's the best possible response.
Oh my fucking god, I'm gonna cry. I don't know. What a wonderful morning, and he's like going through like a 3-hour process just to switch
God
to the
damn
other
it! Do you ever like take a nap or sleep right after you have a shower and you wake up and your hair is just unfortunately awful?
Yeah.
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 I think that's what happened to
Just
him and
be-
he just rolled with it.
Just going straight to work like that, yeah. Only the leader of one of the like most powerful nations in the world.
He
Just like,
overslept one day, didn't have time to do his hair, and everyone just complimented him, and he was like, well, I have to stick with this.
Oh my god, it suits you so well.
I think it's incredible that out of the 3 kings, he's probably, he's probably walking in smelling good as fuck. Like, he's putting on perfume, he's putting on, like, cologne and shit. He's got, like, rare scents and like, rare minerals that shouldn't even be possible in Guilty Gear
rare
universe,
minerals?
like...
Pouring lead on my body to smell
Drinking
good.
Fiji water, you know?
I don't think Dizzy would let Kai out of the house if he was like stinky.
Leo, he just smells like sweat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Linky's got like good man stank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a charming musk.
Sorry, you talked about good man stink from Leo, and I laughed out.
How do we always get back to the subject of stink
I
in these?
blacked out.
I'm not even into stink, I just think it's fucking funny.
It's good that you clarified for posterity's sake.
Into stink.
Trust me,
That's a
I
guys.
headline
want
for
to
the
sniff
podcast
Leo's
right there.
pillow.
Yeah. I'm not even into stink.
Oh, what if it's like Daryl smelled like cigs because he's always in casinos gambling and stuff?
I don't know enough about kaiju to make a kaiju joke here, but if I did, I would.
I feel like he'd kick ass at like blackjack and shit, like
Oh, yeah,
poker.
yeah.
He's got a great
Anything-
poker
Oh, yeah.
face.
Anything that requires manipulating people, probably.
Daryl is banned from every casino
Mansplain,
just because
manipulate
he
male
keeps
wife.
winning. They don't have
I'm sorry,
enough money.
Jay, I like that, like, the way you worded that made it sound like his like main hobby is manipulation.
Isn't it, though?
Again, once he's playable and we see his list of hobbies, one of them will be manipulation.
Manslaughter,
Saying.
manipulation, male wife.
Oh!
I mean, it wouldn't be the strangest interest we've seen a character have in their hobbies list.
Shout out to Delilah, whose main interest is lining up ants to make geometric patterns.
I was gonna shout out Milia,
What is Milia's interest?
chastity.
Oh!
That's a good interest.
Good for her.
I'm interested in chastity. I'd like to look this up.
Doesn't Zato hate women?
I think that is one of his dislikes. I think that is. Yes, dislikes
so
women.
funny about the Zato hating women thing is that like he's had the same dislike since his inception. He's gone through a whole character arc in Strive, and yet he still hates women.
Not
He's
sexist.
struggling with his emotions and feeling things, but one thing remains true. He hates women.
Well, I think it's part of his character arc. He used to hate all women. Now he hates all women that aren't Milia.
Aww. Love is
Oh, I
love.
thought we were gonna go the other way.
I also thought now he hates
Well,
women.
no women, but just Millie.
He's gotten focused.
You know, truly, there's great beauty in the world. He went from hating woman to now just woman.
Women, wow,
Yeah.
equality,
Really
diversity
funny.
win.
Really funny opportunity to like, oh yeah, Zato can only feel when he's around Milia, and it's just the strongest hatred you can have.
Oh god.
What do you think Daryl's thoughts on women are and women's rights?
Oh god.
Anyways, thank you all for joining me on the Daryl episode.
You're setting up the goat for disaster. Don't let him talk.
No. I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm doing.
I think he's actually like pretty good around
Yeah,
women because
yeah.
he supported I don't know what her name, I think it was Alyssa, in making her giant pudding.
Yeah.
And he clearly did not discriminate against women. However, it's really funny if he's like
Does he respect
It's
women,
like-
or does he just want pudding?
Ooh.
Manipulating my way into pudding.
I'll fight for women's rights, but I draw the line at interacting with one.
Shit, you just made me realize that, like, sexism doesn't exactly exist in Guilty Gear unless you are Zato.
It's not like a core part of people's characters, yeah.
Yeah.
Until it's just like, here's the sexism character. The CEO of sexism.
And you know what? We
CEO of sexism, and it's not even the time traveler.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
So
the time
real.
traveler's whole thing is how much he loves women.
So
What-
he
Yeah.
loves women. It's crazy.
It's awesome.
Do you think if Daryl found out about Axel's whole situation, he would have pointed the nukes at him?
I think his brain would explode.
Yeah.
I think he would have found out about Axel's situation, and that would have been the last we saw of Daryl.
That'd be the last situation he's ever heard about.
Sorry, I'm looking at Daryl's character portrait right now. God, he has so many belts. I know he's a Guilty Gear character, but God, he really does have a lot of belts on him.
He stays strapped.
One time, so this is relating to Guilty Gear belts. One time, me and my friend we compared 3 characters: Rex Xenoblade, specifically the one from Xenoblade 3, the DLC.
Oh.
Sora from Kingdom Hearts, specifically Kingdom Hearts 2 Sora, and Strive Milia to figure out who had the most belts, and Milia won.
Wow. There's a.
I don't even, like, when I think of belt characters, I don't even think of
Yeah.
Milia, but
Well,
You know who I think
I'm
of?
thinking about it.
I forget her name, but the one Final Fantasy X lady. Hold on, I gotta find what she looks like.
well, I may have stretched the rules a little bit because we did have a long argument about what was a strap and what was a belt.
Yeah. Also, AD, you mean Lulu? Because the
I
whole
do
bottom
mean-
of her dress is just belts.
Yeah, hold on. Let me,
Nomura's so based for that.
Belts are
let me
cool.
share.
You're afraid of Final Fantasy?
Let me share this with the
What?
class.
Let me see.
What an impeccable design.
Oh my god.
Just the lingerie peeking out, and then the rest of it is dress belts.
Okay.
This is like a
That's actually a
37-year-old
wicked
woman.
character design.
Her magical focus is a toy.
Shout
It's like
out
she's
to
so
the-
real.
Did you guys see the post that was going around on Twitter recently that was like, I forget what the name of the Powerpuff Girl villain was, but it was the woman that was obsessed with feminism. And someone was like, damn, this is a Guilty Gear character. And then the amount of people she doesn't even have belts!
We're finally adding a guest character.
All 3 Powerpuff Girls. Before Daryl.
The Powerpuff Girls in a trench coat.
Oh, this is
We're gonna
totally
need way more
unrelated.
belts on here.
I just looked it up.
That's the Powerpuff Girl.
This whole time I thought Lulu was like 37. She is 24. I'm the same age as Lulu Final Fantasy. What the fuck?
Jay, have you not realized that Japanese studios don't really allow women over, like, 25?
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Even if they
you
are,
looked
they
at the
just look
cast
the
of
same
Tekken?
still.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my main problems with Tekken, honestly.
Dude, I can go on a rant about how much I don't like Tekken character design, except for Jin in Tekken 4 in his hoodie. I like that a lot. But,
Shout out
damn.
to Bob from Tekken.
True.
Yo, shout out
to
to
Bob.
Bob. Yeah.
Oh, I love how curly the text is.
Yeah, I
Don't
want
make
to
a
eat your
fancy
art
food.
duck. I want to eat it.
Thank you.
That's the greatest compliment you can give.
Add Daryl to Tekken. Make him playable in Tekken before he's playable in Guilty Gear. That would be really
I feel
Okay, but
he would work.
there's a character that looks really, really similar to Daryl in Tekken already. His name's Lars.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
Yeah,
Lars with
he
his
kinda-
phone up
God,
haircut.
Lars. Oh.
I really do love that there was a controversy over Lars's design when he was first released, because why does he look like that?
Why does he look like... I can't say anything because I like Daryl. I really can't.
Well, Daryl makes sense for Guilty Gear. In Tekken, you know, you have like Andrew, which is like a guy with a normal haircut, and then we have like Lars, who's just a misplaced Final Fantasy VII character.
God.
Like, what is this?
No,
Which is
Is
really
he
funny
in a
because they had
Naruto
Noxus in
fighting
there
game
too.
as a guest character?
Have any of you played Legends Arceus? He has like the exact same haircut
Yeah, it's
as the
Volo.
fucking final
Yeah.
form. Yeah.
What is he
God.
doing here?
When that game came out, I saw so many posts about Volo, and my friend would not shut up about how cool Volo was. I get the appeal. I get it.
It was bound to happen. They made a Komida Cynthia for people who love men. It's just that easy.
Yeah. Yep.
none of those words should ever be said in that.
It's like a Komida Cynthia for people who like men.
You know, Jay, I just
sorry.
realized the fact that the word Komida was uttered twice in this podcast is I think it's grounds for like deletion immediately.
It was more than that, but you're still right. I'm doing what I can to sprinkle as many Komidas in as possible.
Oh, I can only imagine what happens when we get to the Happy Chaos.
Oh no!
I have had someone in my DMs every day asking if they can be on the Happy Chaos episode because
They want to make sure you don't forget.
Well, are they?
I won't forget. I promise I won't.
Yeah.
Can I just
Oh, they won't let you forget, I feel.
Can I just say that as a Sonic fan, I have way too much like forced Komida exposure because he now shares a voice actor with Silver the Hedgehog.
Oh my
I didn't know
gosh.
that. I was gonna say they were kind of similar, but
No.
Totally forgot.
Right.
Yeah, after Silver's other voice is no longer his voice, they recasted and yeah, it's Komida and I hate it.
may I ask what
Bryce.
happened? Was it Vince or?
No, it wasn't Vic Mignogna.
No.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Crispin Freeman, but I think some stuff was floating out about him.
No,
I
it was-
really don't know the.
It's Quentin Flynn.
Quentin Flynn. That's who it was. Yeah. No. And I think some stuff that was true
Oh, yeah.
came out about that fella, and it was
Very
not
true.
good. Not good. But yeah, no, now we have Bryce Pappenbrook, everybody. It's okay. He's
I-
everywhere.
Is this a safe space to say I hate Bryce Pappenbrook? Although now that I think about it, Bryce Pappenbrook probably would have made a pretty good Daryl.
He's not the Silver that we grew
Yeah.
up with, but he's the Silver who stepped up, and I have to respect him for that.
I don't.
Okay, but there are probably like 40 Sonic fans who would have like chopped a bit to be Silver.
It's true, but he's the Silver who stepped up.
You can do like a pitch perfect Silver impression.
Silver Battle Royale.
Sorry, Jay, the way you
Ooh.
said that, just imagine like, oh, you know, Daryl's my stepdad, and what if Daryl adopted you, and it's like a big Wattpad thing?
You
And
get
One
adopted.
Direction adopted
You
me.
get adopted by the kings of Illyria.
If Daryl adopted me, I
world.
think I'd be neglected.
I would be terrified.
But why did we pick this one? It is so ugly.
Just paperwork fast.
Daryl has never seen a baby.
Aw. How can you say that when Kai is on his team?
Oh, true.
Are you calling
When
him
Kai
either
gave birth.
I
or
wonder if,
20%?
like,
No, Kai. I was talking about Kai.
Okay.
wouldn't it be funny if, like, Daryl was busy when Sin was born, so he wasn't able to, like, you know, go meet Sin until, like, a week after his birth, and then he's just, like, a full
Holy
teenager at that point?
Honeys, I'm home with the Illyrian groceries. Holy shit, that baby is...
There's a man.
That's a big baby!
Is that an egg? Kai, did you lay this egg?
Oh my god. The fucking Jojo Dojin. Cacuin, did you lay this egg?
Do you think the people of Illyria would still accept Kai if he laid an egg?
Oh.
I should hope.
You know what the funny thing is? I think they'd accept Kai laying an egg more than they would accept Dizzy as queen, so...
I thought you were about to say that Dizzy
Yeah.
laying an egg. Like, there's just, like, sexism related to egg laying for some reason. How dare you?
Have we seen any pregnant people in the Guilty Gear universe?
You know, that's true.
Andy
Yeah.
Mito every
yes,
time he's
I
on screen
think.
with me.
There was like that whole family that got wiped out at the beginning of Rev 2.
Oh, this Daryl episode's great.
It's true, yeah. We've done
Yeah.
a great job in the little, like, tail end here talking about Daryl. A lot of good Daryl
Well, you
conversation,
know
guys.
what? Thematically, Daryl can kind of be representative of the whole world, so me talking about Angie Mito getting pregnant is kind of like talking about Daryl when you think about
It's
it.
kind of like talking about
Man,
Daryl.
I'm talking
no,
about Daryl
actually,
all
you're
the
right.
time
The
then.
real Daryl was the friends we made along the way.
Aww.
Aw,
What a
the real
beautiful
Daryl is the Angie Mitos we made pregnant along the way.
I love how in lore Anji Mito was M-preg with Daryl. That's beautiful. The beauty of life.
Thank you, Daisuke,
Thank
for being so
No
inclusive.
one knows anything about Daryl. You have no proof that that's not true.
He was born as a full-grown man also, but he's not a gear. He was just born like that.
He hatched out of an egg, but that's just because Anji lays eggs.
Yeah. That's just because everyone in Guilty Gear is laid out of an egg.
That's true, actually. Robokai was
So I was
laid
gonna
out
be
of an egg.
surprised when Jack O doesn't lay an egg.
She's the
See,
only one that doesn't.
this is really funny because you know when Baiken was reacting to Sin, it wasn't like, oh man, he thinks we come from eggs. It's like, oh shit, how did he figure out the egg thing? He's too young.
Right? Oh no, his childhood.
Sin
no,
was
he
actually
knows about
spot
eggs.
on.
Sorry, I'm just imagining, like, do you think Daryl gets pissed off in the morning and he just invents, like, 3 new taxes to put on people?
Do you think
Oh my
Happy
god.
Chaos blew up all, like, made them blow up all the nukes? Daryl just, like, went into his office and started making more nukes?
It's important
Yeah.
to have.
Using a squirrel, a plank, and a megaphone.
Yeah. Just using a.
I forget how that joke goes, but
Yeah,
you know,
no.
he's just...
Dave creates a megaphone using only a squirrel and a megaphone.
Oh, here we go. I found the tax, the official tax lore for Guilty Gear. There we
Oh
go.
shit.
Woo!
Oh, let's hear it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna send it in the chat then.
Important research.
Yes.
I'm gonna need someone to dramatically read this.
I can do it.
I've never read
Let's
this
see it.
myself.
Urban areas, while they have property tax, real estate or fixed asset tax, income tax, circulation tax, etc., it is not large enough to heavily affect a person's style of living. Conversely, land acquisition taxes and consumption tax are set slightly higher. Restoration of the city center is moving along, but the area that has been thus far restored is still limited, causing a large gap in standards of living in different regions. For less well-off families living on the edge of the city, the taxes can quickly become overwhelming, leading to programs to help them mitigate certain taxes. This effort has kept the entire population positive, and neither class has any dissatisfactions with the way government is run. Suburban areas. All manners of taxes have been set relatively low, and is certainly not enough to disrupt their style of life. There's little dissatisfaction among the citizens. Others, remote regions, underpopulated areas, there's no true tax-like tax in these regions.
No tax like tax.
Tax-like tax. The deterioration of local administrations has led to bad bookkeeping and tracking. Local governments most likely don't even have a solid understanding of their own populations, because standards of living are so low, it is hard to implement a new tax.
Dude, that
Wow.
is so fucking cool.
What kind
Yeah.
What kind of guy makes this cool fantasy world and just thinks, oh, I have to figure out how taxes work?
Yeah, this has more
Daisuke
lore
just-
than Giovanna.
Well,
This dude is out here codifying tax taxes and figuring out, okay, well, how would capitalism affect these areas? Okay, well, actually, in an ideal world where we have a new conglomeration of countries, how would, how would new rule work over the old world, new world? And we don't even know where, like, 4 of the, like, ancient weapons that Soul had are. Like, he just invented them and then they're just gone.
Irrelevant does not affect the price of my McDonald's hamburger.
Thank you, Daryl.
He made answer and he was like, shit, now I gotta think about this.
Hashtag thank you, Daryl.
I really like how there's the implicit inclusion of class, but there is no class conflict. Like, yes, there is rich and the poor, but just don't worry about it. Everybody's happy, smile.
Yeah, everybody just hates robots.
Everyone's
That's
cool with
it,
each other because everyone is experiencing world-ending events.
Unless you're Robokai.
No time for that,
Everybody hates you.
I don't have GG World open, but I think it's actually on one of the GG World things for, like, pen and paper, where they describe, like, hey, pen and paper doesn't exactly exist anymore because we have electric stuff, but also the really, really, really high, rich upper class buy decorative pens for fun, and they don't even use them, they just have them. And it's like, who's thinking about this?
Daisuke's springing up in the middle of the night. He's like, my god, how do they feel about pens? I can't rest.
This is how you make a D&D campaign. Daisuke is just projecting his D&D ideas into video game form.
I feel like, we're probably almost there for, like, official Guilty Gear Unearthed Arcana because we got the card game. We could get some other kind of tabletop. It could be cool.
I've been so surprised seeing, like, I'm not saying the card game's popular at all, but I've seen quite a few people actually pick up the card game.
Yeah.
Like a handful, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's kind of cute that, they're playing it.
Yeah.
I think I brought it up to you, or like I woke up in the middle of the night and because I was reading Twitter.
Yeah.
And I saw, in the Guilty Gear card game, there is a Happy Chaos card you can do, and it's basically all it is a searcher that searches for the Tome of Origin, and you can draw an Asuka from your deck and put it on the field, and it's like, oh, that's so cute!
That's awesome.
I love playing
Adorable.
Prophecy, playing my spellbook strategy in Guilty Gear.
You cast him a little spells.
Is Daryl a blue magic player?
I feel like he's probably blue-black, yeah. He's gotta be. Maybe blue-black-white. Little Esper. Because, like, law and order. But also, he's a little sneaky guy. A little sneaky fella.
And then, like, if he loses, he just pulls out a Tyrannosaurus green deck.
Okay, but Jay, what's he playing in Yu-Gi-Oh?
Oh, I mean, we were just talking about Spellbook, but I do not think that is Daryl's vibe. The first thing that came to mind is Spiral, but that's not really him either.
Isn't there something with an I? It's not Inquisitor, is it? It's like Invoked.
Oh, Invoked? No, he wouldn't be fucking normal summoning Alistair. That's gotta be either HC or Asuka.
Okay.
Yeah. He's not that guy. I don't know. It's a toughie. It all depends on what perspective we're approaching Daryl from. Maybe Infernoble. This is like impenetrable.
If Daryl was playing a video game, what game is he playing? Is he playing Tetris? Is he playing mobile games?
Neko Atsume.
Diner Dash.
That's kind of cute though, like a little gap moe that if he's playing Neko Atsume.
Yeah.
I think
He's playing those Zuzu Pet games available for the DS.
I love how specific you are with that. Like, he's not playing Nintendogs. He's playing the licensed Zuzu Pet games. I respect that so much. I still stand.
My cousin owned, like, all 3.
Yes!
Daryl is playing Style Savvy on the Nintendo DS.
Oh my god.
Kai, what do you think
God,
of the
I want
shirt?
to see him squad up with all the other kings for Apex Legends.
Leo, we gotta squat up, come on.
I think Daryl probably has like a bunch of black tech, just like old Namco arcade machines sitting in his room. Like he just loves Pac-Man.
So true.
It's just behind 3 secret doors.
So it's what he's looking forward to at the end of work every day. He's like,
Kai has the cellar that just has all of like this expensive liquor in it, and then in the back room of that is just a Pac-Man arcade machine.
the finest vintage here.
Sorry, I'm still just stuck up on this with what Durian said, and I'm just imagining, like, what if Daryl had, like, a cod clan?
Imagine joining a clan and you don't even know that the person who made it is the fucking third king of Illyria.
Is that the president?
I'd be like,
Sorry, what if you're playing Overwatch or some shit and you're like, oh, dude, this guy really fucking sucks, and then he gets on mic and it's like, hello, it's me, President Obama.
I'm gonna send you to prison. How dare you say that I suck? You bitch, I know where you live.
Oh, switch tanks.
Tracer, kill me one more time, I'm upping your taxes.
what do you think, hypothetically, if Daryl were to play Fortnite, think he plays build or no build?
It's gotta be build. Gotta be
He's
build.
playing build.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a build.
Yeah. What do you
I'm
think?
glad we were all able to come to a consensus.
But he's like really bad at it, you know?
Yes.
He just
Robokai is
builds a
playing
box
build
around
too,
him,
but he
that's
just he doesn't even shoot, he's just building.
He's like, this is Minecraft.
Oh, you know what?
That
On the topic of Robokai, I remembered another little thing from my, like, Guilty Gear, I'll just call it an interactive fan fiction, because that's more accurate.
That's true.
So, don't ask me how this happened, but I had previously mentioned that there might be a few, like, crossover characters, and I let all of my friends pick one, and then I scrapped that idea, but I didn't tell anyone that. So one of my friends just decided to secretly set up that Robokai was created by the Mishima Zaibatsu.
An experiment by G Corporation.
hold on, you gotta
His
get like
best
the
friend is
music like
Kuma.
and then like Fetus is playing and it's like the Mishima Zaibatsu has created Robokai to enter the King of Iron Fist tournament.
I love it so much that it's just like Robo-Kai is his own thing. Like, there's no Kai in this universe. It's just, this is Robo-Kai. He's a robot.
It's
And
just
his name is
Robo-Kai.
Kai.
What? Do you think anyone would make a Robo Daryl?
I think he could have a
Has
lot
anyone
of
made
really
a
cool functions.
Robo Leo? Do you think they'll jump right to Daryl?
I don't think they'd make a Robo Daryl, but I do think that when Daryl gets tired and wants to go on vacation, he pulls out like a 2D cutout of himself to put at the throne, and no one notices
Yeah.
that he's missing because they're like, oh god, it was fucking Daryl, don't look at him, just don't look at him in the eyes. And he's like
He's
able
so
to get away with
focused.
Do you think people think Daryl's a vampire?
it. Absolutely. Like
Even Slayer's asking.
He does kind of give that energy, yeah.
shit, I guess that's about it for the episode, unless you guys have anything else to say. I feel like we exhausted quite a bit about Daryl. I am very satisfied with this.
You guys think Daryl's a vampire?
I think
Write down
Leo.
in the comments if he's a
Ooh.
vampire.
Leo thinks Daryl's a vampire, and he keeps trying to have conferences at night because he doesn't want him to burn up in the sun.
Like Fred?
I need someone who's really mentally ill about Guilty Gear Lore to write down in the comments every character's opinion on whether Daryl is a vampire or not.
Yes.
Sorry, Jay, just to jump back a bit, I'm just imagining Leo right now being like terrified, like he's sweating and shit being around Daryl, and he's like carrying garlic under his coat and stuff, and he's got like a silver cross, and he's like ready to just be like, go away,
Aren't
go
his
away, go
weapons
away.
just silver crosses? Are his weapons just silver crosses?
Wait, Daryl.
Oh my god, they are.
Since he was introduced.
His weapons are like that because he secretly thought that Daryl was a vampire the entire time.
Slayer's like,
Cracked it.
what are these for, boy? And he's just like, oh, well, there's this individual.
There's vampires around, you can never be too sure, and he's like looking behind him at Daryl, and Slayer's like, oh yeah, you've been be careful, you know,
You know what? He probably doesn't think Slayer's a vampire, but is 100%
Yes, yeah.
Daryl.
It's like, oh, that's just a Scottish man.
Every Scottish person is like this.
In the comments, theorize what Daryl's blood type will be. Everyone has one.
Negative.
Gotta be an A. Gotta be an A for me.
In the comments, theorize on what his opinions about creme brulee is.
You should not have said that because I am so obsessed with creme brulee, and whenever I think about creme brulee, I just bug Jay about it for like the next week, so thank you. I was gonna try that.
I've been cursed.
I'm glad to win a service for you,
Got
Jay.
a little Dark Souls notification when you said that. Cursed.
As a
Girlfriend wants creme brulee.
Boss music started playing.
As a closing thing, I'm looking at Leo's win quotes right now, and his win quote against Slayer is, "Dandyism? No, there's no need to explain, I'll simply look it up." Oh, I see. Damn, this definition is far too long. I'm just gonna replace it with my own name. Meaning, I don't think he thinks Slayer is a vampire. He does not give a shit about that.
Does
you know?
But yeah, thank you all so much for joining me for the Daryl episode of Talk to Me About. I have had a great time talking to you guys. It has been an extremely silly episode, but I think I needed this. It made me smile quite a bit. And
That's good
also,
to hear. Yeah.
Duck, your art is so fucking crazy. I'm gonna retweet the shit out of this.
Thank you.
I'm gonna crunch it.
It's actually amazing how I finished the line art right on time.
Yeah, that's absolutely
Yeah, I was
perfect.
about to say, your timing is impeccable. Like, goddamn.
Right?
It was pre-recorded. It was pre-recorded.
Yeah,
You're
guys.
slowing down and reversing the video the whole time.
Every time I erase, that's just it going backwards to make up time.
Yeah.
But yeah, have a good night, everyone. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, thank you for
Thank you
hosting.
for having
I had
me.
a great time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.